Hey folks, we're back. That's right. A second season of the Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show after every green and white game. Join me along with my co-host Kyrie Zaber, the former NFLer and CFLer, and accomplished high school football coach Ryan Hall, as we break down each week's game for you. And new this year, we will welcome your telephone calls. So yeah, like a regular call-in show, call in, we'll chop it up with you. Can't wait to have another fun season. It's the Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show. And welcome to the Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show live from Gerhard Studios. I am Michael Ball and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. For the first time since 1976, finished first in the entire league with the best record. And for the first time since 2013, when they won the Grey Cup on home turf, are going back to the Grey Cup, ending the 12-year drought. The Roughriders taking on the Montreal Alouettes in the 112th Grey Cup in Winnipeg, Manitoba. As earlier in the day, it was the Montreal Alouettes 1916 over Hamilton with a walk-off 44-yard field goal by Jose Maltez Diaz. And then the Riders, a big 24-21 victory over the BC Lions. And thrilling game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And it could have gone in a number of different directions. It started yesterday when Trevor Harris was asked about Nathan Rourke, and he basically said in two different interviews, and people were all over me because I bunched it into one quote, but he basically said, "We're the big dogs now." And then he was asked, "Hey, what do you think of Nathan Rourke?" He said, "I'm not here to talk about Nathan Rourke. It's our time." To which I put out, "Hey, that's bulletin board material." To which people shot back to me, "Well, if you need bulletin board material to get fired up, you're in the wrong business." To which Nathan Rourke scored a second touchdown of the game and said, right on the TSN microphones at Pill Country, which wasn't Pill Country for the day because of CFL naming rights for the playoffs. They had to cover up the pill logos, but he goes, "It is our time now." So you're going to tell me that wasn't bulletin board material? Of course it was. And Nathan Rourke was absolutely fired up to play. What a spectacular game from that young guy. I don't care what anybody says, face of the league, outstanding football player, the best quarterback in the CFL. He is. But how about Trevor Harris and his battle for his legacy? He said coming into this year, he needed to win a Grey Cup as a starting quarterback for his legacy to be considered one of the all-time greats. And he has a shot to do that as the Riders will play next week with a 24-21 victory on a nice touchdown drive at the end of the game and a nice touchdown pass to Tommy Neal, who has a Grey Cup with the Toronto Argonauts and has been a nice security blanket for Trevor Harris this year, coming up with some timely touchdowns. None bigger than that touchdown grab at the goal line, just inside the goal line with a man draped all over him. Now, we talked about the rules and everything like that. I'll point this out first, and I'm not gonna try to be all negative here because these were two outstanding football games. The Montreal Hamilton game was it was a good defensive struggle. There were some great plays offensively in that game, and it came down to the wire. And the Rider game was played in terribly cold weather. Not the worst it's ever been, but it's not anybody that calls that football weather has never played football. So yeah, that was a great game, all things considered. One of the weird things too. One of the weird things too was about the when was it here? This was about the third quarter. I saw this on Twitter and Gluck, is that how you say it? Gluck? Saskatchewan edges the BC Lions 27-24 in the West Final. They predicted a three-point victory just after halftime. I don't know how it does it, but it's freaky, man. And it was a three-point victory, 24-21. I had said Montreal would beat Hamilton. And I said that the Riders are winning by 4 over the BC Lions. And basically what I said, it would come down to, the Riders' D-line, if they could get after Nathan Rourke. And let's just get right to it. Corey Mace is the up for the coach of the year against Jason Moss. Kind of ironic and appropriate that both of them are meeting in the Grey Cup. So they get to compete for that trophy or that accolade before in the award ceremony, and then they get to go for the hardware in Winnipeg and a chance for the Riders to atone for the 2 Grey Cup losses in 2009, the 13th man, and the 2010 one in Calgary and one in Edmonton. Um, so, yeah, the Rough Riders will play the Montreal. Sorry, I'm distracted. Leanne was doing some stuff on the screen, kind of threw me off. I apologize. So yeah, the Rough Riders 24-21 with the victory, and a lot's going to be made of Corey Mace, the head coach of the Rough Riders, who made a couple of bold decisions there. He went for a field goal instead, so he goes for it earlier in the game, and they score a touchdown instead of taking a field goal. Then he goes for it, or decides not to go for it later in the game with like 2 minutes and change to go. Goes for the field goal instead and trusts his defense. Riders get the ball back. Can't do anything with it. We have to punt it on 3rd and 10. The BC Lions had 2 chances to put a couple of first downs together and end the game, and they couldn't do it. And as much as Kerry Mace lost his defense and held some big balls coaching in that game, and tip of the cap to him because I really believe he's the main reason why this football team is where it's at. It's as much to do with there's some pretty bad coaching on either side. I thought the Riders probably, in hindsight, it worked out, but I think the Riders probably should have gone for it there when they kicked the field goal, but it worked out, so that's great. And I'm not gonna be too critical, but I thought Mark Mueller, who I've always been behind as a coach, unless Trevor Harris changed it. Mark Mueller, he has the ball in deep there inside the 10-yard line with AJ Ouellette, who's over 100 yards rushing and picking up steam in the second half, and he doesn't tell them running play, 2 passing plays, and they have to kick a field goal and are down 21-17. So there's that. On the other side, the BC Lions, Pierce knows he knows what I said. His whole line could hold up against that Riders pass rush. So they got him rolling out, rolling away, keeping plays alive with his feet. And man, was he magical, Nathan Rourke. Well, at the end of the game, the last 2 minutes, they don't do it. Let me try a delayed quarterback draw, but get him out of the pocket. Get him out of the traffic. You're going a whole game long and then you're going to do it at the end of the game? What are you doing? And speaking of the "what are you doing" file, as much as you got to credit Trevor Harris with the drive of his career, bringing them down for the touchdown, and kudos to him. On one of those passes to the sidelines, he took a shot in the ribs while throwing the ball. Like he rolled out to his right, threw it back to the left, and took a shot right in his ribs and made the throw. He had a play by a 39-year-old. He played his balls off, and as a 39-year-old, he looked cold at the start of the game, but man, he was rolling as the game went on. He was smelling that this was his last kind of kick at the cat, last kick at glory. So him and I haven't seen eye to eye this year because of the comments I made in the off season, and he got mad about them. But tip of the cap to him, man. He did a great job leading his team to victory. But his was Mike Benavides, what are you doing? Russia. I've never been a coach. I'm coach in this league like Mike Benavides, and I've never been a defensive coordinator in this league. But even I know when the game is on the line, you can't just rush 3 guys. You want to start the drive rushing 3 guys? Fine. You got to bring some heat against a surgical quarterback like Trevor Harris. Get him off the spot. Riders in the line, though, outstanding with 4 Americans on that offensive line. Travion Tatum was the best offensive lineman probably this year before he got hurt. I say that, well, Jamarcus Hardwick was their best offensive lineman and will probably win the award nationally at the Grey Cup week. Travion Tate was probably the best one before he got hurt. The best lineman in the Canadian Football League is Logan Ferland, and it's not even close. He I mean, great Regina Thunder player, rural Saskatchewan kid. He could play all the positions in the offensive line and do it flawlessly. He was a road grader out there at center. He is the best lineman in the Canadian Football League, and it's not close. But with regards to the Rough Riders, you're rushed against them. What are you doing? So kudos to Corey Mace, but that's on Benavides and that's on Buck Pierce. Just they got they got, they got dumb all of a sudden at the end of the game, for lack of a better way of putting it. They called a great game till then, and then I don't know what happened. They got a brain trap. They got scared. They didn't rise to the moment, and they lose the game. Who's kidding who? The BC Lions were in that game because of Nathan Rourke, the best player, not just quarterback. He will win the MOP. He'll be the most outstanding Canadian, and he's the face of this league. Ever since he told the commissioner his rule changes were garbage, that's my next point. Ever since he told them they were garbage, I would have given him the award right there. But that guy, mobile, he's not a player. He's almost tackled and he flings it off to Butler. I mean, his receivers did him no justice. They dropped passes left and right. Butler, Barry Hill, Keon Hatcher at the goal line. Now, some of that was Nathan Luke's fault too, trying to force that one in at the goal line. But on that one where he dumps it out in the flats. But Keon Hatcher's got to catch that ball. You can't have that picked off after the Lions forced a fumble from AJ Ouellette hurdling on the play. So you got to catch the football. So Rourke didn't get a lot of help. Somebody's saying my audio is garbled. Okay, Leander, can you check into that? Leander went to go check on that. Larry G says always take the points. I'm having audio problems, so not sure why. I'm backed up from the microphone. Corey's watching, Tim's watching, Austin watching, Greg watching. Thanks for checking it out. Corey Swan, my colleague at Crestview Chrysler, where we're the rider supporters. Yeah, so the Rough Riders win 24-21. I want to take a break, but my bro here is not here. So yeah, you're encouraged to call in too. Let's talk a little Rough Rider football. The 112th Grey Cup in Winnipeg. Last time it was held there was 2015. Edmonton beat Ottawa. Prior to that, I thought we were going to have a flashback to 2006 when BC beat Montreal in that cold Grey Cup game. Regina's own Jason Claremont won the Grey Cup. Remember when McCallum kicked all those field goals for the Lions and they broke the cup? And that was that frigid game in Winnipeg. Do we know what going on with the audio there, Leander? He's going to try to figure it out. Okay, so we're going to take a break, try to figure this out, and we'll be back shortly. 306-992-6955, the number to call. Riders win 24-21. They're off to the Grey Cup in Winnipeg.
The Italian Star Deli, providing Regina and area with quality specialty products since 1966. When you visit the Italian Star Deli, you're truly part of the family. So drop by any time and they'll help you find whatever your heart and palate may desire. Whether you're looking for olive oil, specialty meats and cheeses, pasta, sea salt, vinegar, canned tomatoes, or one of their mouth-watering famous sandwiches, you're sure to find it and so much more at the Italian Star Deli, 1631 Victoria Avenue, Regina.
All right, welcome back to the Our Balls Are Bigger post-game show. Weigh in and let me know if the audio's fixed. Leander and I are trying to figure this out. We're operating like the BC Lions did in the last 2 minutes here. Uh, Trying not to fumble it away as the Rough Riders win 24-21 over the BC Lions, and they're going to their first Grey Cup since 2013. Last time they hosted. Lions haven't been there since 2011, the last time they hosted too. Let's go to Ryan Hall, who's a regular co-host here, joining us on the phone line. Ryan, are you there? Can you hear me? Yeah, got you, Ryan. How are you, bud? Okay. Are you doing? I'm doing okay. I'm pretty tired. Yeah, so let's get to the Huskies and Rams in a second because you were calling it Can West TV. But I do gotta bring up you texted me here, and it's something that I brought up in the initial portion of the show. So I don't want to make this all negative for sure because it was exciting football and it's sure to be another great cup in Winnipeg, and you know they're gonna do a great job hosting. Um, But if now we're not too sure, Ryan, eh, how these rules are gonna go, if they'll even there's been such a backlash. I have a tough time believing they're gonna go back on the rules in 2027, but next year, I hope they do, but next year they're supposed to go benches on either side, which it should always been the four yeah, yeah, four of the Western teams already had it right. Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Calgary. Now BC didn't because of soccer, and then whatever they do out east. They're always weird out east. Um, but this 35-second play clock, I don't know how it's going to work. People have told me it's not going to affect the play or anything like that. I have a tough time believing that. So if it goes how I think it's going to go, the Riders maybe don't even win that game. You know what I mean? Like, it was such an exciting finish. There was so much going on at the end of that game. How does that look next year going forward? Well, they made it funny because it's a very it's so far forward, you know, after the previous year. Mhm. So it's a clock running situation. It's a ball been going that, you know, now there's a clock running. The current is the clock, and it's 3 minutes clock. And then if every time that age, the referee blows in 3 seconds. So there's usually these 3 seconds between the end of the play and when the referee blows in. So that's the kid is right, but it's right. So anyway, you think you're right. So you really get a swimming for us if he's having a minute late, you'll be swimming for us in the top of the game. Finally, has a thing, you know, now, just like wider running, Okay, so the Saskatchewan Roughriders win the football game. Here's the thing, too, Ryan. So the play clock, yeah, okay, it's going to affect the last 3 minutes, which is that's horrible, horrible on the CFL's part. Also horrible on the CFL's part. Now you were driving, so you were listening to the radio, and I don't know how well they described it. I'm not judging. I just didn't listen to it. But on TV, it was a clear catch by and now they review every play, every scoring play, and that's fine. It was a clear catch by Tommy Neild in the end zone. Little in cut, makes the catch, gets his hands under the ball, and you could see from a couple different angles that it's a catch. Now, I know it's a big game to go to the Grey Cup. They're trying to do their due diligence, but it's the command center. It's referees not knowing the rules. Like in the Montreal game, there was a pass deflected at the line that Bo Levi Mitchell threw that lineman caught. One of his linemen caught. They threw a flag, and then they had about a 5-minute discussion whether it was a catch or not. Well, of course, or whether it was a penalty or not. Of course, it wasn't a penalty. It's deflected, so the guy can catch it. But it's like it's the refereeing, it's the command center. There's lots of other things that could be fixed before they, for instance, implement a 35-second play clock. Before we get to the Canada, because that's kind of why I had you on, because you watched that game. Hey, we got to give Trevor Lewis credit. He really had to picked up some first downs, took a spot and lead in the last drive, uh, completing a pass across his body near his sidelines. Did those bender routes working, those layered routes, not the underneath ones, but the next layer downfield. He throws those balls in the season. It was a legacy dream for him. He keeps his legacy alive here with a chance to solidify it next week in Winnipeg. So tip of the cap to the graybeard Trevor House. Sometimes coaches overthink too. Like the B, I know you didn't watch the game, you were listening, so I don't know how they described it, but all game the BC Lions had Nathan Rourke rolling out of the pocket. I thought it was a really good game plan because he is the best player in the CFL. I don't care what anybody says. They get mad that Nathan Rourke gets too much publicity. I think he gets just enough accolades, like justifiable accolades. Like he rolled out of the pocket. He scored 2 rushing touchdowns. He kept so many plays alive with his feet and his vision downfield when things were breaking around. And then at the end of the game, when they needed a couple of first downs and 2 different drives to cinch the game away, they couldn't get it done because he didn't leave it in his hands. Now, I know they called the delayed quarterback draw, but roll well, put some stress on the defense and big piece went away from that. And then on the other side, Mike Benavides only rushes 3. Like, don't you have to bring some heat at the end of the game on old man Harris who can dissect defenses better than anybody? Ask you a question. There was a play that happened in the game, and I'm never a big fan of this unless it's at the goal line. Okay, it looks good on TV, and everybody goes ooh and ah. But I never like leaving my feet. Like when I'm a running back, I don't like seeing my running back leave his feet. And AJ Ouellette likes to do that, and kudos to AJ. He's been their offensive MVP this year, in my opinion. Despite Trevor had a great year, he's been great. Okay, and I thought he was washed last year. We both thought he was washed, but he's really come back this year. But he leaves his feet on the running play and gets stripped of the ball. Now, fortunately for the Riders, Keon Hatcher can't catch near the goal line. It turns into an interception. But that's what I like. You feel like guys dribbling in the middle of the field, especially when it's not the goal line. Hey Ryan, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna restart the stream, and everybody watch it. We're gonna restart the stream. We think we just need to do a reboot, just the way technology goes. So Ryan, give us about 2 minutes and call back if you want to get that Husky Rams update because that was another exciting game. Okay? Can you stay on the phone? You can stay on the phone. Don't go anywhere. Stay there, but we're gonna